Hi, welcome to Home Farm. Today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing this Wi-Fi security camera from TP-Link.
So this is an outdoor security camera. It's quite dinky and small and compact, which we like. We've got quite a few entrances into our property, being a farmhouse, there's back doors, side doors, front doors, etc. And there is a couple of doors that are very close to each other. They're kind of tucked away in a corner, and in the garden we kind of want to make sure we've got security there because there are two access points basically close to each other.
It's worth noting that we've got a TP-Link mesh system installed in our house, which we've been very, very impressed with. So I'm hoping that because this is Wi-Fi, it's just going to blend in and connect perfectly to our network. So inside the box, you get the all-important camera. I've got to say it's quite small. It's a interesting design with its two little antennas on the side. You get the power plug and the connecting cable, and you get these waterproof attachments that basically waterproof the edges once you've actually connected everything to them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so is this really very easily movable in all directions? Yes, is it a 360? Yeah, fantastic, it really is. Because some of the other outdoor cameras that we've looked at, it's either up or down or left or right.
Yeah.
But this is quite nice because you can, by the looks of it, rotate it.
Yeah, it's like on a ball joint, so you can literally maneuver it any which way. So
cool.
That's kind of cool because actually when you mount that to the wall, you would actually have a nice thing. And if you want to mount it to the ceiling or to underneath the roof or something, you can also still always have it pointing down. So it is quite a clever design on that little ball joint. It's worth actually adding that even though this is a wireless camera, you can also wire it. There's an Ethernet port at the back here. So if you did actually want to hardwire this, so you didn't want to rely on the Wi-Fi, you can do that. So we've been using the Tapo C310 camera now for 2 weeks. We actually changed our mind with regards to the positioning. It was originally supposed to go in the courtyard, but we ran into some issues with regards to getting electricity to it and the Wi-Fi signal. So we had to adjust our plan and we put it out front by our garage, so now it actually scans the driveway.
Yeah, that's handy.
It is handy, so it's still a good situation, and that's quite a convenient time now for us to actually discuss some of the things you need to think about when it comes to putting up a Wi-Fi camera that's outdoor. So obviously when you put an indoor camera in, you don't typically have to worry about power sockets or Wi-Fi because normally it's quite strong inside the house. As soon as you try and position it outside, you've got to think about how am I going to power this camera and how strong is my Wi-Fi signal going to be to that. So this was quite a big process for us. I spent quite a lot of time outside with my mobile phone, basically moving it all around and seeing where the Wi-Fi signal was good. The fact that we've got very good wall insulation and a lot of glass.
And brick.
And
even stone, actually.
And stone, a lot of heavy materials. The Wi-Fi signal really struggles to penetrate outside the house. So it was quite a lot of trial and error, but we eventually found a position for the camera that was good. We've got kind of half strength to the actual Wi-Fi, but it's enough in order for us to be able to stream from that.
Yeah, I think as you said, if you're doing a new build or something like that, where you can actually hardwire in the internet connection and the power, then you're fine. You can put it wherever you want, so to speak. And like our neighbours, they put they ran their cables to the power where they knew they were going to want outside lighting and outside cameras, because they had renovated and pulled it all out and they were at that stage. But for us, we're kind of in a retrofit, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, when you're doing them outside, you've just got to think it's not as easy as just going on the internet and ordering an outdoor camera.
I mean, I think the simplest way of actually getting around it is that this camera does have an Ethernet port. So as you've just said, if you are building something new and you're running electrics, make provision for an actual Ethernet cable to run through there.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to worry about Wi-Fi signals. And you've got a really robust connection back to your hub. and you are able to stream and view your footage at the highest quality. I think the thing that surprised me the most about this camera is it is quite an entry-level camera in terms of the price point.
Oh, really?
It sells for £50.
Wow.
I actually checked the pricing today at Amazon. I've actually got it on sale for £40.
Wow.
So given the amount of features that this camera has, for £40 is actually a really excellent price point for the amount of features that you're getting. The one drawback of this camera is that it doesn't have the ability to differentiate between humans, animals, or people, or cars, sorry. But it does have a motion detector. So, from that perspective, it's capturing all motion. And the one thing that I would definitely recommend if you're going to get this camera is that it streams only, but it does have a little port underneath the camera for a micro SD card. So we've put one in, and what that does is it now records all motion to the micro SD card. So if you do miss a notification, you can just come back, start up your app on your phone, and you can actually scan through it, get to the motion, and it'll actually play that back for you. And then you then have the ability to save that to your phone so that you've got a reference of it.
And you were saying that the picture quality is pretty good?
The picture quality is excellent. During the day, it's really high definition. It captures everything really well. The nighttime sensor is also great. The one thing that we've discovered with regards to the actual motion detection is that you get 3 settings on the camera. It's default to medium. You can set it to high or to low. When we left it on medium, it would pick up humans and vehicles quite easily, but it wouldn't pick up animals. So now it comes down to what your personal preferences are. If you're really not bothered about recording animals or minor movement, then you can set it on medium. We've got quite a lot of wildlife outside, so it's quite nice for us to capture that. So I actually put ours up to high. But what that does is when it rains at night, every single raindrop that whizzes past the camera, it picks up as detection. So last night we had a downpour. My iPad and my iPhone were just getting notifications every couple of seconds saying motion detection, motion detected. So, that is one of the drawbacks of it. But because you're recording to micro SD and you know that it's raining or whatever it is, you can just ignore those and it'll just overwrite all of those recordings anyway.
I was going to ask if it overwrite or whether you had to go out and clear it or, okay, that's great.
It continuously overrides. We just had a bog standard micro SD card, so we didn't have one of these ultra fast ones. I think it's a 16 GB one. When it was raining last night, it kind of filled that card up in maybe about 4 or 5 hours. So that just gives you an indication that you can get a good 4 or 5 hour worth of recording.
In high motion.
In very high definition.
No, but when there's a lot of motion.
When there's a lot of motion,
so it's recording an awful lot of data. Wow,
so obviously also if you crank down that and you crank down the quality, even on a 16 GB card, you could probably get like a day's worth of recordings, which is more than enough for stuff like that.
It is very white.
It's very noticeable. It's an excellent point, actually. It's very different. If you're going to use it as a genuine security camera and you want it to blend in.
I'm not sure why they went with white, because I think that, a lot of the time you kind of want to put it either under a gutter or near a gutter or kind of under a roof line or something like that. And I'm not entirely sure why they thought white, because it's a brilliant white. I mean, it's not just an off kind of chalk white. I mean, this is a white, very shiny, glossy, white. So it is very noticeable. So I do think that it would be great if they could do that camera in a couple of colors. If they could do like a dark gray and a black, something like this, give you a few options to make it more discreet.
I agree. It does contrast. We actually put it up on some wood, and even then it's very noticeable. If you were to put it up next to a gutter, like you said, a black gutter, or even the red brick that we've got, the contrast is really good. We've got other cameras that are black, and they tend to blend in a lot more.
Yeah, unless you've got a white house, you're going to notice it.
Yeah, true. No, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, so if you've got a white house,
you're okay.
So Tapo is a new sub-brand of TP-Link. TP-Link are not HomeKit enabled typically, and this camera isn't. Having said that, you do get an Apple app, which is basically designed for that, or you get an Android one, but it doesn't allow you to connect it to HomeKit. So if you're adamant about having a HomeKit enabled camera, this doesn't do it. It's not a big deal though. I found that the app is actually quite good. The streaming, once we managed to get the Wi-Fi connected well, is very quick. You can access it from anywhere in the house, and it does stream in very good high definition and quite quickly. In terms of the range of detection, I also thought the camera was really good. I tested it. It picked me up walking up towards the camera from about 15 to 20 meters away, which I think is a really great range. The app obviously does have zones too, so if you are near a busy street or something like that, you can actually just tell it to capture only in a specific portion of where the actual camera's pointed out.
Is it like a grid? Do you get to choose your squares?
It's not a grid, it's just basically, it shows you the whole footage and it's got a red overlay on that. And it's basically almost like you crop images. You just put your finger on a specific point and drag it down and across.
Oh.
So it'll only detect motion in those specific areas.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which is a handy feature.
That's very good.
And the other thing that's worth noting is, again, if you live in quite a busy area, you can set schedules. So if, for example, you don't want to be recording anything during the day when it's really busy, you can just, and you only want nighttime security, you can just set the recordings and the schedule to work from, let's say, 9 o'clock at night to 5 o'clock in the morning. You also have the ability to actually speak via the camera. So if, for example, again, you're not home and you've maybe got a UPS guy or a courier that's actually arrived and dropped something off, you can talk to them. Good. So, it's got that backwards and forwards communication.
Like those doorbells.
Like the doorbells.
Okay.
And it's just a handy feature, again, to have, to be able to do that.
So would you recommend it?
Definitely. If you're in the market for an outdoor security camera that's on a budget, I think this is definitely a camera worth considering, because I think the feature set for the price is going to be difficult to beat.
So we hope you found this video useful and interesting. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We hope to see you on our next video.
Thanks for watching.